Hello, Cura team. Welcome back to Bonneyville on Transport Fever 2 on PlayStation 5 on my channel, on John Silver. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're joining me, please don't forget to hit that like, and if you're liking, why not subscribe so you know when the next one of these is coming out. And if you're a regular subscriber, why not think about membership and all of that other good stuff. But anyway, here we are. What have we done? I'm going to put pause on just because it gets rid of that whistling wind sound. So, what have we done? Well, the biggest thing we've done is we've paid off our loan. So here we are, no loan, which is great. We don't like loans. Loans are really, really annoying. And you can see here from the chart for the last 50 years. So, I don't know why it says 50 years, because 50 years would have been 1815, which is well before we started, but it seems to only go back down to 1852. So that actually looks like 13 years to me. So I don't know what happened to 1850. Anyway, you can pretty much see, I think, that I definitely stopped around about here, where you've got this I guess big drop in expenditure. So 1861-ish was when I started paying off my loan, and you can see that it really does pick up. The expenses drop and the income goes up quite dramatically. It's almost like it's a twofold effect. So not only do your costs go down, but you recognize the same amount extra income as your costs went down, and therefore you get this boost. So that's what we have done, and you know it got easier and faster to pay things off after we had paid off that loan, which was really, really good. And what I am proposing is thus: that we put a big train station here, and that we get oil from these three terminuses, from these three oil wells, to a cargo hub, a transport hub, for vehicles here, which will be connected to the train station. The train will then run the oil up to the refinery so it can be refined. And the train will come back with refined oil and bricks and possibly even rocks, although that might be another line. But what I want to do is I want to get the refined oil, the bricks and the rocks back here eventually. Then what I would like to do is I would like to drop off the refined oil, and the refined oil get over here to the refinery where it can be made into fuel, and then the trucks that are dropping that off can bring the fuel back to the train station. And then another train will come down here to another sort of hub down here, probably around about this area here, where it will pick up timber and logs and drop off refined oil and bricks. Rocks, because we got rocks over here, so we need that to make the bricks. Then over here it could pick up timber and bricks and bring those back up here. This will also connect to the timber, etc., etc., etc. And then a train to go out here, bringing bricks and timber, because we've got timber here and we've got bricks here. And then it can stop off here, pick up even more oil and possibly some more logs and things, and then bring those back into the middle and drop off logs for the timber and oil again for the oil oil train to pick up and go back up to the refinery, right? And that's the kind of thinking that probably makes more sense with the cargo hub. It's very much a big departure from the way I was playing the game. Traditionally, what I would have done was I would have made a train station just rocketing backwards and forwards, and I have one train just doing one job, and that is all that it would do. and that works up to a point, and then it doesn't work. And I think that this method of um, keeping the lines fewer, relying slightly more on the vehicles, but having really big trains. Like, I mean really big trains, 400-meter long trains, like really big trains that are carrying multiple goods around the map, backwards and forwards and everything else. That is the possibility for how we make some moolah. Now, right, we're back. Okay, let's borrow some money. Let's borrow let's start going back with 5 million again and start there. So what are we going to build? Well, we're going to need to build something modular, so that's fine. I think do we need to start with 2 tracks? I don't think we need to start with 2 tracks, but we are going to start with awfully long. That's what we're going to do. Orientation wise, I mean, I don't honestly think it's going to make a vast amount of difference, because what I plan to do is eventually sort of have large cargo buildings down each side of the station. Um, the In case you didn't know, when you're loading stuff in and out of train stations, if there's not enough room, some of the goods ultimately get lost. So we don't want goods to get lost. Now, um, do we want it to be flatter, or do we want it to be? I think at the minute we're sort of a little bit slave to the territory, and the territory's quite flat that way. So we probably need to consider actually um, where we specifically want the train to go. So I think it's kind of about there. I think we're close enough. Because we start to get into some rocky territory over here. This is kind of flat. You can see we've got a bit of it's obviously bedding in at the top end, and it's elevated at the bottom end. But I think we're probably about there. I think we're sort of splitting hairs at this time, so we're going to put it right there. So that's that. Um, and we're going to want a train station up here now. Do we want another modular one, because there's every possibility that we're going to want trains to go further up. I'd like it to be kind of over this side. Is this a big flat area? Not really. Um, there's not. This is actually surprisingly not so bad. We can always skirt around the oil. It's quite elevated at one end though, isn't it? It's not very flat. It's not very flat. That's digging in a bit. Not a huge amount. Where are we going to put this? It's getting a bit bumpy over there. That's actually surprisingly not that bad. It's digging in a little bit and it's elevated a little bit, but it's not. I mean, the other one was 380, right? And that was pretty flat. You can see it's down a bit. We can do a little bit of. This must be a little bit easier. It's a little bit more elevated out there. Um, but I think that's fine, because I think that fits the bill in terms of exactly what I want, right? I think that's exactly what I want. Right, so all I have to do is now hook this up with track. So let's just see what it says if I do this. It says 1.26 million. It wants to create a tunnel. Why does it want to create a tunnel? It's a lot of money. I don't want this because there's going to be eventually a lot of trains coming through. See, it's 120 all the way, which is kind of what I want. I think it's wanting to tunnel through here under this road. What is that grade? I can't. There's my indicator. So here's something else I didn't know, by the way. So you see that little arrow which is now pointing flat? Yes. I'll mark it. There you go. You can change that with the change height up and down. See, now this is one notch up, 2 notches up, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, so it doesn't show you different notches, but it does show you whether you're on the flat. So this is on the flat. So if I wanted this to remain flat, that's what that's doing. So that's saying 1.2, and it tunnels right under the road, which actually that's not entirely a bad idea. To be fair. Otherwise, what I can do is I can try and get us up level. So it's now that would bring us up level, and then I would have to cross the road. So I could do that. That would be 360,000. Then I'd have to cross the road flat and then pull in. Now it's a bit of a grade. So this is one of those trade-offs where you need to think about what's going to get you, what's going to help you now versus what's going to help you later. Now I could do this for say I did it there. That's interestingly enough, although that's lower down, for some reason lower down costs me more money, probably because I got to cut more things out. So I could do that for 363. And then you would probably find that this to here is another 200. So that would be 500,000, right? So that would be 500,000. What's this grade look like? So you end up with the problem you have is that you end up with a hill both ways, right? Because they've got to come out here and then they've got to climb this hill and they've got to go down here. Now, if I want trains here to be possibly carrying a lot of stuff, that hill's going to be really annoying. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to bite the bullet on the costs on this one and say boom. There you go. So we've got 1.2 million and we've got this big tunnel. So it's a big tunnel. It's going to cost us a bit of money. I wonder if we can't. You can't do it in sections without breaking it. So what I'd have to do, if I wanted to, was I'd have to say break that section and break that section, right? And then what you do is you put that there and you make that a cut, and you try and find the other one, which is there, and you make that a cut. And then what we should be able to do, ideally, is connect these, right? And now we've got cuts, which we then don't have to pay to maintain. So we're paying to maintain the tunnel where we need to maintain the tunnel, which is here, which is fine. That leaves us enough room. This road comes through. This road is not disrupted by things, which is jolly good because it connects through the Vildacans. So that's going to be very helpful. But I can also make it wider. I can make it another connection. I can make it whatever. And then we obviously have these cuts, which take us all the way down to our train station. So that's probably actually what I would like. That's the easy bit. That's the easy bit over with, mate. That's not the hard bit. That's the easy bit. Oh my gosh, we've only got $251,000 in our account. We've already spent 5 million on this. Oh my word. Right. That's very expensive altogether. So streets wise, we want to be able to connect. So this here is is going to be the connection. We'll just run that out to the end here, so that gives us a little bit of something. What I would like to do is I would like to try and make the cargo hub appear as if it was part of the station, right? So let's connect this. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that if I were to put this here, right, what I would do is I can put it, I can put it there, and it would be close enough that what I think would happen is I can do this, and I don't know if we want, I don't know what we want to do with station entrances and exits at the minute. So what we'll do is we'll do that, and then what I want to do is I want to do that's fine. I don't know if it's going to like that. Don't know if it's going to like that, because what I then want to do is I want to come out this way, say. Now hopefully, oh, it's not picking up on the logs because I need to actually directly connect it to the logs. So the logs is at an angle, isn't it? It's this one. Okay, don't want you to do that. I want you to do... Could we get curved down to 0? Right, now are you connected? Yes, so that is now connected to the timber and the station. So what I was kind of hoping eventually was that I can possibly extend this, but because you have these open things here, that it looks like it's all connected, right? So this looks like it's all connected. So that's fine. I'll leave that because I don't want to break the connection. We are short of money. 7 million. I don't like it. Don't like it at all, boss. Don't like it at all, boss. Because I have to do the same thing on this end. So I have to, or don't have to, want to, where are we? Cargo buildings. Go down to the large pulled area. Outside. That's that thing. Gonna have to do a road, a new road. This is also not flat. Oh, so much money. Right, here you go. Right, we need a road to run basically along here, and then out to this chap. Now, if I were to, because I kind of wanted this on this end, but it's too far away, so just too far away, so let's break that. Let us Let us see. Let us see if we could put that, like I said before, we can go as close as this. So let's put it there. Let's put in one of those and one of those. Let's see what we can do with these streets. Will this work? Right. Doesn't really like very short distances. Missed the node. That node doesn't like it. Doesn't like it at all. See, because it's too close. So I think you could do it like that, but I don't know. We'll do that. We can do... That's a bit close. We can do this for now. That's a bit extreme. That's not extreme enough. That's probably just fine. Right, let's see. Does this count as still connected? It does. Excellent. Right, so we now have that connected. What it's not connected to is connected over here to where the oil is that is going to be dropped off. So that is fine. That's a roading issue. So we will do that, and that's the way out. Which is that's still fine. They've got to do a bit of a loop, or I could just bring it. Well, they've got to do both. They've got to come in and go out. So maybe the idea is that we do that, and then you could also do. Doesn't like that. Too close to the node. End up creating these rather convoluted road networks, which can all be tidied up and sorted out and whatnot later. Right, so that allows trucks to run from now what is the train cargo hub to the oil. We can pick up timber there. We'll worry about rocks and bricks later. We can pick up timber here, but we can't pick up oil yet. So what we want to do is we want to connect this into here for now. So we'll connect that into there for now, and we will we'll need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery with this thing, which is the same that I've done before. Which, in case you were wondering, and you're like, why are you doing that? What's the story there? So the story is that you want to create a flow through the station, so that they don't jam each other up. So what you need to remember here is that the game is by default drives on the right hand side, so everything operates on the right hand side. So if you just had it facing in with one entrance and exit, everybody has to come in, they have to turn around, they have to queue, and they have to come back out, all the same entrance and exit. And that's fine, but that you'll very quickly find, especially with the longer vehicles, that they start snagging each other up, and you then have to start making your platforms longer and longer and longer, which we'll do eventually anyway. You know, that'll happen, but you know, it's quite. 3 wagons blocks up everything. You can have people take from both cargo platforms, but if you have 1 wagon blocking the entrance, that's it. You're stuffed, right? So you don't want to do that. So you want to create so people come in and go through and come out again. So it's right-hand side. So what you need to make sure is that trucks coming up the right aren't interfered with by trucks coming out, and vice versa. So a way to do that is you have them come in one end and filter through out the other and go away again, and that way you're keeping the all of the roads in the correct places that they need to be in, which is exactly what I'm doing. So we're doing that. So so there you go. So we've got now oil going to here, and or at least we haven't yet, but we'll do that next. So we've got the possibility of oil going to here and timber going to here. Actually, we don't need timber going to here because this is already attached. So this will automatically load up with timber, and this one will not automatically load up here. So we're going to have timber trucks running, which is a bit of an annoyance because I'll have to set up another. What I can do with that to avoid excess amounts of money is just have an unload stop because we're not going to store that stuff just yet. We don't need to worry about picking anything up. We're just going to drop off, so we can just have a couple of trucks dropping off there, and they'll U-turn in the middle of the road. They don't care, so that's fine. And then we'll need trucks delivering the oil to the refinery here. So that's that. So yeah, so let's set those up now. So this is from there to there. And they are going to be picking up at Antiquaria East, and they can pick up at either platform. They are going to pick up only full because I don't want them carrying anything if they're not full. Trust me, they will be full. And they can drop off at either one, doesn't matter. And that's that. And we'll call that Antiquaria Crude. Antiquaria Crude Trucks. Right, so that's the Antiquaria crude truck. So they're going to pick up here and go over there. Over this side, we are then going to want trucks that go from there to there, and they're going to pick up from either one. They are going to. Do I want them to pick up a full? Yeah, I do actually. I do actually, and they're going to pick up crude. And they're going to take it to the refinery, and they're to the refinery area, and they're going to do all of that, which is great. And that's going to be the Vildicans crude trucks, right? So that's going to be that. So that's what we're going to need to get that sorted. This interesting because this is already connected. This will automatically start putting timber here if I can shift it. So all I need to do over here is to create a demand. This is actually connected. So this is an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work because the train isn't connected, but the cargo is. So in theory, what happens is if the train comes in carrying timber, the timber gets loaded in here. This should actually automatically get picked up from here anyway. So in theory, I don't need to create a line at all. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So let's first things first. First things first. What do we need to do? The first thing we need to do is we need to get some vehicles on a line. So that's way too much money. This should be like 12k to plunk one of these down. And you know, sometimes you have to not connect them possibly to a road. 14. What if I connect there? 11. That's a bit more. That's a bit of a sensible thing. So what we want to do is we want to go here and we want to slay. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? We want 10 of these, and these are the antiquarian crude trucks. Right? So they're going to carry crude over here. That's fine. Over here, we're also going to want a Bildung. That's a bit expensive, mate. Could we do it anywhere else? 18s, 17s, 61s. About out here, 18s. Anything over here? Put anything over here? Anything over here? Honestly, chaps. Really? Why is it so expensive? Why is it so expensive? Right, where are you? Where was that 15? Right, never you mind. And then we're going to do it. And end up being 22,000. Doubt! Right, so I don't exactly know how many of these we're going to need. So let's start with 5. Let's start with 5, and they're the Vildecans crude trucks. Right? Because it takes time. So these trucks, why 10 and 5? Right, okay. We know that we're going to need to supply this with a lot to fill up a train. So we're going to need more than 10 trucks, actually. But we're going to start with the small train because we need to try and get it to make money. First, we're very heavily in debt, or will be, by the time we're finished this whole process. So we need to kind of get this to happen across here. And then the train's going to chug on up the hill, which means the trucks are still moving. Then the train's going to come in here. Then it's going to drop off. Then it's going to, trucks are still moving, going to come all the way back. Trucks are still moving, trucks are still moving, trucks are still moving, right? Then it's going to pick up again, right? But we need more here. Up here, the trucks have a much shorter distance to go, and they're just dropping off. So they're just going to go bloop, bloop, and do little loops. So I'm hoping, albeit that this requires 2 to 1, but it doesn't matter. We're not worried about output at this stage. We're worried about moving input. So I'm hoping that will work, right? So the next big thing we have, which is our big problem, is a train. So let's hook this directly up. We don't need signals. I know people are going, what about signals? So you don't need signals. There's just going to be one train shuttling backwards and forwards. So we need to know how much the train is going to cost. 500,000 ain't going to cut it. So the Baldwin 6-wheeler, top speed 40, power 70, tractive effort 40. Now, tractive effort 25. That's not a lot. It's a very small steam engine. It isn't going to make us really a whole lot of money. We're going to need the general, right? Let's just say that. The power is about how fast it comes up to speed. Tractive effort is how much it can pull. So, in theory, we're going to... Now, I haven't bought anything now, just in case you don't know. We're just lining this up. We want to shift oil. Now, this is what we have for oil at the minute. We have this little tank car. So, in my experience, now the problem is it's gonna take a while to come up to speed. And in fact, I just want to see, will these guys actually start shifting oil without us having connected anything together? And the answer is no, they won't. So because the game only recognizes where there's demand, right? And we haven't created any demand. To create that demand, we have to put a train on the line. So we're going to have to put a train on the line. That's okay. So we don't know how much we're going to need at this stage. What we do know is we're going to want one of those. Now, you'll see there at the bottom, I didn't know this, but I now do know this. When you add a wagon, you'll see there in the bottom right, it says the power rating of the vehicle, which is 130 kilowatts, and that it says that it's good, right? So the power rating is 130 kilowatts. It says it's good. And I add one of these, it says that's still good. Now it says that's mediocre. That means that this, believe it or not, train is gonna struggle a little bit with that tank car. Now, if we keep going, eventually that will change to poor. So there you go. So it has to go quite a bit of a ways out. Where is poor? It's about there, I think. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's no difference between sort of 2 and 12 in terms of the power and in terms of how good this wagon's going to be. We're not going to be using 12 right now, but that's something to know. If I wanted to improve that situation, I could add another one. That now increases the whatchamacallit, the rating to mediocre again, and then I can start adding in more, and it still says mediocre. Believe it or not, you can do that. So that's how you could do that if you wanted to do it. How many do we want to start with? I think really, because 4. I think if we start with 4, and that might even be, we could probably even start with 3. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge to get started. And as soon as it starts making money and we make money and we start paying off the massive loan that we're going to need to pay for all this nonsense, we're going to start looking at things looking a little bit better. So I think we want to start with 3. We need 1.087 million in the bank. Pardon me. So we need to borrow again. There you go. That's what we need. So one of those, 1, 2, 3 of those. We have purchased one of those. We now need to put it on the train line. Have we even put in a train line? I don't think we've put in a train line. Let's do that, shall we? So what we need to do is we need to start there at Antequera, and we're going there to Villa de Cans. We are going to want this to only travel, well, full load any. At this stage, because I want it to actually make money. I mean, I suppose I don't actually need that because it won't. So how this works. So if you have a multi-configuration train, so you've got, let's say, oil tanks and stake trucks, so you want to bring timber and oil, which is what we want to do, right? If it's set to load if available, what it will do is, if, say, a tank has a capacity of 20, but there's 10 only at the station, it will fill up that tank to 10, and then it will head off, right? It won't sit around and wait until the tank is full. Same with the timber. And same with tank and timber. So if you've got a tank that takes 20 but you've only got 10, and you've got a stake truck which takes 20 and you've only got 10, it'll just fill up what's there, and then it'll head off based on these characteristics here. That the maximum stop time is 3 minutes. I don't know how that 3 minutes is calculated. We're not talking about a real life 3 minutes, I think, or maybe we are at flat speed. I don't know. Anyway, you can fiddle with that and you can make it wait for longer if you want it to wait longer, or not. If you change it to full load any, what that says is, let's say you have 3 tank trucks, and each tank truck takes 20, and you have only got 30. It'll fill up one tank truck to 20, and then the other one to 10. That says one of those things is full. I can leave. So away it goes. Same with the timber. If you have a tank and timber truck, and you have 30 oil, but only 10 timber, and it fills up one tank truck, it'll also head off, because any of the loads, any of the split loads on the train are now full. It'll head off. Full load all means it's just going to sit around and wait until everything is full and then depart. It's pretty much that simple, right? So we're going to say, not sure about that for now. We're going to leave it with load anything for now. And unload anything for now. We probably don't need to tweak that, because the only thing that a tank truck can load is this stuff, and it's the only stuff that's coming in there. It won't know if it can also load that stuff, or it can also load that stuff. But basically, it'll just make the decision that whatever is there, it's going to fill up with, which is going to only be crude oil at this stage. And we can talk about fiddling around with that and everything else later. And then when it gets to the place it's going to unload. So that's fine. So that's a fine line. And this is going to be the Antequera to Villa de Cans. And we're just going to call this freight because in the future it's going to be different. We're going to call it freight 1. Okay? And there you go. Right? So we now have that. We now can put that on that line. We can now watch this guy trundle out. Now, what I can do is he's trundling out. I'm going to stop him. Right? This has now recognized there is a need. So this is now working because these guys have gone, right, okay, somebody wants stuff. So that's fine. That's going to head up there. I don't have a stake truck, so there's no timber required just yet. The trucks are the trucks are the trucks. We'll just let them run. So the reason I stopped this guy is because I don't want him to just run up there completely empty. So these guys are bringing oil, and when they bring some oil up, there will be enough things to fill this little train. So let's have a look. What exactly does he take? 21, and each of those is 4. So we want what is that? 6, because that would be 24. So that's fine. So once 6 of these have offloaded, that will be fine. So let's watch this one offload. There you go. See, they've started offloading. That's 1. The other one's going to go to the other platform. They're getting in each other's way a little bit. I haven't set this up perfectly. I just wanted to set it up to get it going. Like I said, you see how they're starting to get in each other's way? So what I'll do is I'll have to fiddle around with that one and get a little bit working. But we've now got 17, 18, 19, 20, and then this next one that loads off will be 21. That'll be fine. Now he can go. So he should be able to. Sometimes you need to keep an eye on these things. They don't always do what they're supposed to do. He should stop here now. If he doesn't, I'll have to flip him around. He's stopping. Excellent. So he's going to stop and he's going to fill up full beans. Let's jump in the cab. He is now heading off. And he's fully loaded, and he's heading off to Villa de Cans. It's a heck of a cut. He's not going to see much scenery. And then he's a freight truck, so who cares? Here's our little tunnel. Good speed, 45 kilometers an hour, so that's good. Yeah, it's keeping a nice constant speed, so that's worked out quite well. And here we come. We're dropping off. So we're going to come and we're going to drop off. And that's fine. And now he's dropped off, and now they're picking up. Some of them are picking up anyway. I don't know if anybody actually did pick up. Yeah, they did. So they picked up, so then they're going to go and drop off. So that whole line is working now. And if you quickly have a look, I can repay 500,000 already. So I'll let this run for a little bit, and I obviously need to keep an eye on everything else. I need to tidy this up, but it's not a major priority for right now. You can see that we're already increasing. So, given that is how much have we got now? 47. We could double. The more we shift, the more we make. Can you come out of the tunnel so I can click on you? Thank you very much. So the more we shift, the more we make. That's really the short answer to this thing. So if I want to edit my vehicle, I can go down here. It's 203,000 for another tank car. It's probably honestly going to be worth it. So we'll fill in another tank car and we'll let him go down, and then he'll make a little bit more money running back again. So that's sort of what I need to do for now. What I want to do for now is I want to let this run for a little bit. We'll see just exactly how many tank cars we can get on this little train, and also pay off some of that loan, because I did take out, it was $8 million loan. It's now 7.5, and I really, really, really want to pay that down as fast as possible, because the interest payments on a loan of that size are going to cripple me very, very quickly. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to let it run for a little bit. We're going to see how we go. And hopefully, if it's not too long and I don't run into too many difficulties, I can bring you back when we've paid off that loan and we're looking at next stages, because I really don't want to start to get into the next stages until I have secured some income. And I want to make sure that that's where we get to. So let me do that. I don't know how long it'll take. It will take as long as it takes, and I will see you when we're ready. I'll see you soon. Right, welcome back. We're paused. Let's unpause. So there you go, 1868. Let's just hit pause again. So 1868, 3 years, and we have paid everything off. That's how much profit that this train line is making, and there's more. Wait, there's more. So this is our train now. A lot different, eh? He's maxed out. He is maxed out. He is 12 long. If I go one more longer, he'll end up poor, which will really slow us down. So we don't want that. So he's as long as I can make him. Also, I have got these trucks obviously now picking up the refined material. So it took a while to supply enough stuff to get refined material, but we're now picking up refined material. Not nearly as much. So he's only carrying back 30 at the minute, which you know, that's okay. That's there's other things to work on. So, but it's money, you know. So I think. I mean, you can see he's making nearly $1 million in profit. I think how it works out is it's about 700,000 one way, 300,000 the other, or thereabouts, something like that. Obviously, he makes the most amount of money bringing the crude up here, and then he makes another amount of money when he drops off. I've had to do a little bit of rather ugly jiggery pokery with this, but you know, this is early days, so let's not worry about it. So that is now, I now have trucks picking up the oil material, the refined material, and taking it over to the fuel refinery. And then while they're dropping off, they're also picking up fuel and dropping it off back in the center of Antequera. So Antequera is now getting slightly more of that, and then they're coming back out again. Which one is this? Antequera oil trucks. You're not supposed to be going that way. I tried to get. Are you doing a loop? Oh, my word! These lines. I don't want them to go that way. So when they leave the annex, I want you to come back this way, right? And you're gonna go that way, and then you head out to Antequera West. And then this is in the wrong place, and then you go into Calais de Vicente Alijahutu, and then you come back out this way with no messing around, right? Fine, that's what I want you to do. Please do that from now on, will you? For some reason, it wants to send them around the top way. I don't think that's the fastest route. I think going through this way and then back again is the best way of doing it. But there you go. So yeah, so we had to do all of that and also stay on top of, or try and stay on top of, our vehicle maintenance. So we've been trying to stay on top of all that, and obviously pay off our loan, and obviously buy more trucks, and obviously increase the size of our train, and we've done all that in 3 years. So that's not too bad. That's some proper money making. I think if we go and have a look, this is that massive expense. I wonder what that was. That's the train, me old mucker. So, which is interesting because now you can see it's about 10 million for this setup. So we'll bear that in mind. So every time we want to do something like this, it's about 10 million. Now, obviously, the next time we do it, hopefully we're just adding one train station. So it might only be, it's probably not 50%, but let's say it's 60 or 70%. So you're still going to say we're going to need 7 or 8 million when we want to do it again. So that sets a good bench for knowing what it's going to cost to do this kind of stuff, right? So takes about 10 million for an initial setup, which is great. We know that. Then we have, obviously, you can see the money which is happening at the bottom. Obviously, we've got the road, which is kind of doing what it's doing, etc., etc., etc. We're getting an awful lot of tickets on road, but there's a lot of maintenance and everything else. We now have rail, which is obviously now making a lot of money, and that's it. And now that we have paid off the loan, you can see how much it jumps. And I did say it is really surprising that it's like, oh well, it's not that much money, the loan interest, but for some reason it makes a massive amount of difference at the back end, and I don't really know why that is. Like I said, I have said that before. So that's the situation. We've now got tracks. Our towns are, they're going to be up and down all over the place at this stage, whatever. So we're off and away. We've got a train. Toot toot. We've got trains. So that's fine. So we have trains. So we've got things that need to happen. Oh, I never noticed there was an oil thing come in here. There's another oil route out there in Ubeda, but hey ho, we don't have time to fix that. We don't have time to fix that. There's only so many things you can focus on, so many things that need to be done. So anyway, so there's still things that need to be done here, as I have said before. What I would like to do is I would like to get a line set up over here. So we want to be able to take bricks out to Rivas Vaccia Madrid and timber out towards this plant over here, and possibly pick up some wood, maybe pick up some additional oil. I'm not sure. We'll see how we go. And come back, supply the timber plant with a bit more logs, and we'd like to be able to get rocks. I'd like to ultimately be able to get rocks down here to the construction goods. What is it they call it? Construction materials mat plant. But it might not be urgent at this stage because, I mean, I can take bricks back, so we can pick up rocks and bring rocks down all the way somehow, and bricks back. We might need someone bringing back rocks, and then they're just dropping off rocks and bringing back bricks. There's things to happen. So there's stuff that needs to happen. That said, for that to happen, we're going to need mucho moolah. We're going to need money, and we're going to need quite a lot of money. So we need to be aware of that. I probably want to have a look at the road network here to see if we can get more product from here to here, and fill that need in a bit. But it's 1868. We're still basically on exactly the same things as we started with. We don't have anything new yet. It's not a million miles away, I'm sure. If we go and have a look at the trains, zipping around the map, and we have a look at what's available in the train store, we still don't have much. This guy came in 1858. This is the original, so we've only had one more train come in, and that's that. Passenger lines, yes, there's obviously the possibility of a passenger line between these three. That might be something that could make money. I have had a horrible time with passenger lines, to be fair, and getting passenger lines to make money. So until I feel like I'm making a solid amount of money in cargo, maybe that's something to consider for later when we've got a little bit of money to spare. trying to make a passenger line make money. So, and when I say a bit of money to spare, I feel like, 100 million because it's going to be like 30 million just to get the line set up. So yeah, so anyway, there you go. So we're off, we're away. We've got money being made. There will be more money to be made. I need to tidy some things up over here and make some things possibly look a little bit more efficient and work perhaps a little bit more efficiently. That's just tweaking things. That's nothing major. Um, I probably need to expand this train. There's plenty of room for him to stop at the station. So all I need to do is add another loco into the train, and you're basically bolting two trains together, but using the one platform, which is fine because then I don't need to pay for another track. So we're going to see how that goes. We're going to see if we can hook up to bricks and get bricks hooked up. But I think timber is probably the first thing we need to get hooked up. So we'll probably set up a timber train because I want to see how this works here with dropping this timber off and whether the plant can pick it up. And that's it because I don't think we can bring anything back. Um, yeah, that's going to be a bit of an issue. That's fine. That's fine. It's we can't make money backwards and forwards immediately. That's okay as long as we're making money. We know we're going to work on that, and we know it's going to be a future plan. So there you go. Right. I think that's it. I'm gonna have to wrap up. Thank you for joining me on this one. Hey, we're doing good. Bonneyville's doing good. We've now sort of set the financial platform for us to think about really moving forward in terms of making some money and making some improvements around the map. And that's great. Let's get on to that. That's the next thing we need to get on to. I'll probably do a few little bits and pieces offline. I do know that people like to hear how I kind of make the decisions I make and how I get to where I got to, and sort of, some of the tips and tricks and just little things that you do that people like me, I forget about. It's easy for me to think, like these in and out lines, just go, oh well, I just do it, because I just that's how I keep things efficient, and maybe, that's tips and tricks that you could do with hearing me talk about. Anyway, if you have found it helpful and useful and you have liked it, do click that like. And if you're liking, why not subscribe? And if you're a regular subscriber or watcher of the channel, then it might be a good idea to consider membership or the Patreon. And if you're looking for something, a little bit of something for that special someone in your life, or even just you, if you are that special someone in your life, you could always check out the merch store. There's some fun things on there which are all well and good with some pirate themed bits and pieces, etc. So do feel free to jump in. Right, I will see you all again real soon. Ta-ta for now.